All right, good afternoon, writers. Today we're going to take a look at our information writing checklist so that we know exactly what it might look like to meet the expectations for our writing on information. We're going to take a look at an example of a state report and see how we might rate uh, the different sections based on our rubric. This is a great skill to have because it lets us see what a good lead might look like, um, what it is that we're looking for in informational writing, and all these different areas to make sure that you are meeting the purpose of our writing for our state report. So if we think we're going to see a rubric that looks like this, and it's or a checklist as well. So it's a way to um, rate yourself in if you did it like a fourth grader. So I'm going to take you through this, and then we'll take a look at an example. And then for your assignment tonight, you are going to get a chance to practice. So overall, for fourth grade, we want to make sure that you taught readers different things about a subject, and that overall you put in facts, details, quotes, and ideas into each part of my writing. Thinking about breaking this up into smaller chunks and looking at your reports or your papers about your state, we want to know if you did it like a fourth grader. So if I look at my lead or my introduction, some things that your teachers are going to be looking for is, did you hook your readers by explaining why the subject mattered, telling a surprising fact, or giving a big picture? I let readers know that I would teach them different things about a subject. If you notice these categories, not yet, starting to, yes. This is where you would mark if you felt like, if you were looking at your own writing, that you could kind of rate yourself. I kind of did it. I don't see any of this in my beginning. Or yes, I 100% made sure that I started off with a solid hook, and I was letting my reader know what was going to be in my paper. Another thing that we're looking for in our state report is transitions, making sure that our sentences are being connected by different types of words, such as before, later, next, then, and after. If I organize a section in kinds or parts, I use words such as another, also, and for example. Another section we're going to be looking at is the ending of your story. And a lot of times, writing your conclusion for informational writing can be pretty challenging. But these are strategies that you're going to be getting from your teachers in order to see and make sure that you are writing a nice, solid conclusion to wrap up your informational writing on your state. Some things that we might be looking for is, I wrote an ending that reminded the readers of my subject and may have suggested a follow-up action or left readers with a final insight. I added my thoughts, feelings, and questions about the subject at the end. Going on to more of the structure, making sure that you're grouping your information into paragraphs and sections. You're going to be provided with a lot of sections and subheadings, but it's also really important that we have paragraphs, and we're breaking up our information in paragraphs so that our readers can easily dissect the information that you're trying to give us. If we look at our development, we're looking specifically at elaboration. How are you elaborating on and giving us different kinds of details and facts, and using your sense of voice in your writing? So we think about, I taught my readers different things about the subject. I chose those topics because they were important and interesting. We are thinking about using kinds of facts and details such as numbers, names, and examples. So making sure we're utilizing all those wonderful resources you are being provided with in your research. So that's why we are showing you different sources. I got my information talking to people, reading books, and from my own knowledge and observations. Lastly, thinking about I made choices about organization. Maybe you used compare and contrast, cause and effect, pro con, including diagrams, charts, headings, bold words, and definition boxes to help teach my readers. We are going to be incorporating text features into our writing. So these are things we will be looking for. So what I would like to do is take a look at a little bit of a writing sample, and then together we'll think about, did this writer, we'll look specifically at the lead, and we'll look specifically at our ending, and see if that we could tell if this writer was, yes, meeting those expectations and doing it like a fourth grader, maybe was showing that they were starting to do this, or not yet. Okay. So I'm going to close this and share with you here. Arizona. This is a state report. We're not going to read through all of this, but let's just get a general sense of how this will look, and then you'll get an opportunity to practice. All right, so I'm going to read you an introduction. And if you notice, again, I kind of showed you an example of the last time with the animal report. This is an example of a state report and what yours might look like. Notice the subheadings, notice the pictures, just kind of scrolling through, notice the bold words, and how your paper will be broken down. And lastly, we've got your glossary. So I'm going to go back up to the introduction just so that we can take a look here. Warm weather, sunny skies, and a cool breeze. Arizona is the best it can get. Lie out in the hot sun watching the cactus wren, Arizona's state bird. Fly by while the saguaro blossom grows around Arizona's state tree, the Palo Verde. Visitors can experience all the natural beauty that Arizona has to offer on a hike through the Grand Canyon or a walk over the Hoover Dam. Whatever the season, Arizona has something for everyone. So after reading that, I'm going to go back to my rubric here, my checklist. I'm going to think about, did this writer hook the readers by explaining why the subject mattered, telling a surprising fact, or giving the big picture? And did this writer let readers know that they would teach them different things about a topic? I want you to think about what you would rate this example. If we go back here, I noticed that this student did give a surprising or interesting fact, and also let us know that there are going to be teaching us different things. They mentioned climate, maybe some of the plants that they might see, and some of the sites that they might see. So I would say that, this would be a really, really great example of, yes, there were they hooked the reader. So what I would do is I would put a little check mark on my checklist here in the yes column. Taking a look at, we're going to go all the way down to the conclusion. And we're going to see if this writer has met the expectations here. So the conclusion, so there's obviously a lot of pieces in the middle, but we're going to just check out the conclusion. That was just the beginning, because Arizona has much more to offer. Visitors can explore all of Arizona's beautiful nature as they watch the Arizona tree frog jump on the state's plant, the saguaro cactus, and the Apache trout swims in the cold, refreshing water. But don't forget about all the amazing warm, dry weather that is just waiting for you in Arizona. All right. So what's kind of interesting about a conclusion is that you want to restate a lot of the information that you covered in your paper, but stating it in a different way. You don't want to state it in the exact same way. So we would want to go here to our ending, and we would want to see if that student is starting to, yes, or not yet. So I wrote an ending that reminded the readers of my subject It may have suggested a follow-up action or left readers with a final insight. I added my thoughts, feelings, and questions about the subject at the end. Looking back, I think that this writer looked like they had they left readers with a final insight, kind of reminding us of all the things that we had followed in our might have read about. So I might say for this writer would get a yes as well. So then you would put a little check mark here. What you're going to do tonight is you're going to take a look at, in Seesaw, you're going to have an activity here that, actually I will not sure that, but that will ask you to do the following items as well, to make sure that you're looking at an introduction from a different state and a conclusion, and being able to explain why, using the rubric, why you would have rated the way you did. What evidence did you have to support that they did include those things, specifically in the introduction and conclusion? All right, so writers, this is just a beginning, and since we only looked at a portion, you will be looking at analyzing your own writing as you go through your state reports and go through each of the phases. So this is just a little snippet to get us practicing and what it looks like to analyze our own writing and see what we're missing and how we can even make sure that we're improving our writing in order to become the best writers that we can be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, off you go. Have a wonderful rest of your day.